Chris Collins came up in the conversation today with Digby to the extent that he was going around Congress a while back bragging about how many millionaires he had made by giving them inside stock tips on legislation that he was promoting.
It's because I'm smart. It's because I'm a smart guy.
And, of course, the voters in New York,
they weren't as thrilled by that.
They were, and they brought him back, despite the fact that I think at that point he'd been indicted, correct?
I got to say good for him. You know what?
And
got to respect that hustle.
Well, that's like chapter 3 of my Voters Are to Blame book. But
blaming the electorate.
Here is AOC on the House Ways and Means Committee explaining this dynamic that you can basically, and look, this is how it works in local governments all across the country. Small towns and maybe not so small towns. State reps. State like New York. Why am I a state rep? It's good for business. My business. I've got a blank business, and this is how I get clients, and this is how I get meet people, and I sell things to the state. I mean, just theoretically, on the federal level, you don't want to see as much of it, but now that seems to be not the case.
Okay, great. So, green light for hush money. I can do all sorts of terrible things. It's totally legal right now for me to pay people off. And that is considered speech. That money is considered speech. So I use my special interest dark money funded campaign to pay off folks that I need to pay off and get elected. So now I'm elected, now I'm in. I've got the power to draft, lobby, and shape the laws that govern the United States of America. Fabulous. Now, is there any hard limit that I have? Perhaps Mrs. Hobart Flynn, is there any hard limit that I have in terms of what legislation I'm allowed to touch? Are there any limits on the laws that I can write or influence, especially if I'm based on the special interest funds that I accepted to finance my campaign and get me elected in the first place?
There's no limits.
So there's none. So I can be totally funded by oil and gas. I can be totally funded by Big Pharma, come in, write Big Pharma laws, and there's no limits to that whatsoever.
That's right.
Okay, so awesome. Now, Mr. Mirabani, the last thing I want to do is get rich with as little work possible. That's really what I'm trying to do as the bad guy, right? So is there anything preventing me from holding stocks, say, in an oil or gas company, and then writing laws to deregulate that industry and cause, that could potentially cause the stock value to soar and accrue a lot of money in that time?
You could do that.
So I could do that. I could do that now with the way our current laws are set up. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yep. There you go.
She then goes on to clarify and confirm that there are even fewer laws constraining what the president can do.
Yeah, it's well, the president can do just about anything in that respect, and I mean, the emoluments are supposed to clause is supposed to prohibit some of that, but
have a hotel.
Yeah, it's a little bit tough. A little bit tough to get charged.
Did you see that? What I just?
It's a real problem. Yeah, I'm in the middle of
should,
something else though.
Oh, sorry.
But yeah, so that's.
I thought it was a transition. Yeah, money in politics is bad. Sorry, go ahead. Breaking news.
Yeah. But that's not money in politics, right? That's enriching yourself. That's not the influence of outside money in terms of, it's simply just using politics as an extension of your business. And that's just pure corruption. That just happens to be legal in this country.
Yeah. She's so good at breaking that stuff down in a way that people can understand.
She's really good at doing that, and also, like, the media follows her. So it's not just that she's really good. Maybe that's, it's maybe a little bit of chicken and the egg, but I think she's just exceptional at doing that, and fortunate that the media is following her around, and she's a superstar. And so we get that message broadcast in a way that, like, we haven't in decades. I mean, I imagine Henry Waxman must have said that same thing 10 years ago, and no one cared.
He's pretty electrifying.
Only Dorsey
guy.
knows who I'm talking about.
You see
He was
Cali?
California And
Yeah,
I think
I
it
know-
was
I know that
government.
guy is.
I can't remember what committee it was, but it was a big oversight committee.
He's really into Cardi B too.
Is he?
No,
Yeah, he could have.
no, he's not on Twitter talking about Cardi B.